Today I'm going to show you how to create this headband. It's a simple stitch for beginners basically. If you know your single crochet and double crochets, you can do this stitch. It's called a shell stitch, and up close it looks like that. It's really pretty. You can use it changing out yarn colors, doing rows. I use kind of an ombre type rainbow yarn, and that ends up making it look like you've switched out colors for rows anyway. And it's called Unforgettable, and it is by Red Heart. And this one is called Stained Glass, I believe. Let me see where. There it is, Stained Glass. There's the UPC and the lot number. I found this on Amazon because I think they've changed over to a lot and they call it Parrot now, but I'm using, I found these online because I just love it. So what you'll need is a G hook. I like to use the G for this project because the yarn is fairly thin and I like the tight pattern. Even though it's tight, it's still flexible, and a pair of scissors. Okay, so this headband works in multiples of 6. You want to chain multiples of 6 and then add 5 at the end. So for my headband, I chained 90 and then added 5 at the end, so 95 total. For this sample, I'm chaining 18 and adding 5 at the end. So your first stitch is going to be your second chain in from the hook. So it's going to be not this one, but this one right next to it. And you're going to do a single crochet into the first, for your first stitch, I mean. Then you're going to skip 2 and do 5 double crochets into the next. So you got 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 5. Then you're going to skip 2 and work a single crochet. It's a little difficult working with this thin yarn, but if you're using Red Heart Boutique's yarn, it's a little thin, so it's a little difficult, but manageable. Skip 2, work 5 double crochets, I think I have brownie on my I've got brownie on my fingers. I'm sure everybody can relate to that. Who doesn't like brownies? So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. One more. 5. It's good to count them as you go because sometimes you might skip one or do too many. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then your skip 2. 1, 2, work into the third, doing a single crochet, skip 2, 1, 2, then you're going to work 5 double crochets into this stitch, three, number 4, and number 5. Then you're going to skip 2, 1, 2, and work a single crochet into here. Oops. I changed my loops a little big, but that's okay. So you should have 3 stitches at the end of your row. And when you have those 3 stitches at the end of your row, then you need to skip these two like you've been doing, but instead of doing a single crochet after this cluster, then you're going to do 3 double crochets. Well, I'm sorry, first we did the 5 double crochets, we skipped the 2, we did a single crochet, we have 3 left on the chain, and so now we're going to do 3, a half of the what we were doing before, or nearly half, so we're going to do 3 double crochets into the very last stitch. That's number 3. Then you're going to chain 1 and turn it. So after you turn your work, we are going to work a single crochet into the very first stitch. Then you're going to skip 2. There's 1, 2, and you're going to go into the 3rd stitch, which should be the single crochet stitch from the previous row. So you're going to do 5 double crochets into that, both loops on top. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So you can see doing the single crochets or the double crochets over there on the end give it a nice border. And so from here, the yarn's a little tied up. From here, you're going to do the same as you did before, skip 2 and then crochet, single crochet into the middle of this row 1 double crochet cluster. So and the way that this works, got a dog hair in there. The way that this works is since they create kind of little shells, they kind of bend in, so you can see the tops of the stitches here, but make sure you get both loops in there. So there's the top of the chain, 1, 2, 3. So you're going to go into that 3rd one and make sure you got both loops on your hook and do a single crochet into there. And then you're going to skip 2, 1, 2, and go into the 3rd, which will be, it's from that angle you can see them a little bit better. 1, 2, 3. And you're going to work your 5 double crochets into that last single crochet from row 1. So basically what the pattern is you're doing your 5, you're filling in the gaps by working the 5 double crochets into the single crochet from the previous row and only single crocheting at the top of each of the previous row's 5 double crochets, if that makes sense. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And see, we're going to the middle. Each shell has 5, so count 2. The middle row is number 3, and the middle is 3, so that's your center. So then you're only going to single crochet into the top of the center. Then you're going to double crochet or single crochet or double crochet 5 into this cluster. And I'll see you right back. When you reach the end of the row, you're going to be working off of this cluster of double crochets. So you're going to do the same as you did before and skip 2 and you're going to go into the center stitch with a single crochet, and that'll leave 3 stitches at the end. 1, 2, 3. So you're going to do 3 double crochets into the very last stitch. Which can be a little bit tedious to get in there. Okay, got it. So there's 1, 2, and 3, and then you chain 1 and turn it again. So once you've completed row 2, you're going to repeat row 2 until you get to the desired length or width that you'd like. Like I said, I think before, that my headbands are usually measure about 3 3/4 to 4 inches. You can make yours thinner or wider. It's your preference. So once you finish completing the rows, then you'll do a finishing stitch of single crochet and double crochet at the end, and that is coming up next. Okay, so I've reached the end of the row, and I'm going to do a stitch to finish off the top of the headband. As you can see here from the other, this is my starting row, and this is the finishing stitch I did to kind of even it out on top so it looks less scalloped. So here I did my last 3 double crochets of the row. I'm going to chain 1, and I'm going to turn the work, and I'm going to do single crochets, basically the opposite of what I did before, of what we did on this row, with just single crochet, with mostly single crochets, and then 1 double crochet above the single crochet from the previous row, and that will even it out. So I've got 1, 2, 3 stitches that I'm going to single crochet first. So we're going to do 1. Oh, it escaped. The loop escaped me. Okay, 2, and then 3, and then in the chain above the single crochet from the previous row, we're going to do a double crochet, and that'll raise that pit or little hill, if you will. So that'll see, it'll make it even with the rest. And then you're just going to single crochet in the tops of all 5 of the scallop. Two, 3, 4, and 5. And then when you come to the dip again, you're going to do a double crochet, like that, and then go right back and do single crochets over the top of the scallop, whatever you want to call it, scallop, cluster, 5 double crochets together. And then we've reached that point again, so we're going to do a double crochet. And you can see that instead of it being a scalloped edge, you have a straight edge. All right, so now our headband is complete, and this headband measures about 10 inches long to about 3 3/4 to 4 inches wide. I ended up doing about 12 rows for my yarn that I'm using here, the Red Heart Boutique yarn in stained glass or parrot. And once you complete your rows you're going to want to bind the pieces together with using either a single crochet. Here I went through and I used a needle and a piece of yarn, and I just sewed it together. I'll also, the finishing stitch at the top, we showed you how to do that. So regarding the weight of the yarn, if you do this project and you use a different type of yarn than this Red Heart Boutique yarn, you're going to have to adjust for the rows that you do, because a thicker yarn you won't have to do as many rows. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and if you have any questions, leave your questions in the comment box below. And thank you for watching